We are gathered here to fill you with fear and give you a treat for your ears as we invade your mind with our scary rhymes and some tales that can be gory. As you bear witness and sit here and listen to our poetic horror stories. The call is coming somewhere in your home. That is what I'm being told. My mind was blown. The police traced the harassing phone calls. And unfortunately, I'm in the house alone. Suddenly, my lights in my house go out. I let out a little shout. I see a shadow moving in the dark, quickly moving about. I know right now I need to get the hell out of my house. But before I move on to the end, let me take you back to the beginning and how I got here. My name is Liz, and I just bought this new home. It is a bigger and much older home. It needed some repairs. This is the reason me and my husband Charles got the house fairly cheap. I was determined to fix it up, make it more modern, and turn this old house into a home of my dreams. The house has a 4-bedroom and 2-bath. It isn't bad. It just needs some TLC. A little rehab. The person who lived here before us passed away in this house. Knowing this, it didn't matter to me. It didn't freak me out. I knew me and my husband could be happy living here. My husband traveled a lot as part of his business. I work from home, so this makes it easier for me to work on the home. And we have a dog. His name is Leo. We lived here for about a month without any problems. But when I started working on my home, I knocked down a wall. This is when I received the first harassing phone call. This is just a friendly reminder to please like and comment to let us know how we are doing so far. We would love to hear from you all. And if you're new, please subscribe and become a part of the PHS crew, and we thank you. When I picked up the receiver of my landline phone, all I could hear at first was static coming through. I thought it was my husband, and maybe we had a bad connection. Suddenly, I heard a woman's voice, and it yelled out really loudly, "Stop!" Then the call dropped. I threw the phone to the floor. The voice was so loud, it made the inside of my ear throb. I couldn't hear out of my right ear for the rest of the day. Where we live now is pretty far from the city, and it's hard to receive a cell phone signal. It's on and off. When I could hear clearly in my right ear, I told my husband about the weird call. He just laughed it off, telling me that the woman that died in the home must be haunting me. Maybe she doesn't want the renovation. She is not happy. I told him that isn't funny. Stop being silly. He told me it was just a bad connection. Don't worry. I said, yeah, probably. Then he told me he will see me when he comes at the end of the week. So I pushed the call to the back of my mind and turned in for the night. A couple of days passed by when I started to work on the house again. I started to pull up the flooring in one of the guest rooms. I was almost done when I heard the phone as it rang. When I arrived to answer, it stopped. When I stepped one foot back to work in the guest room, the phone started to ring again. I go to answer it, and then it just stopped. This happens over and over and over again. By the end of the day, I just decided to give up. I was so tired. I had dinner and went to bed. But in the middle of the night, the phone started to ring. It scared me out of a deep sleep. It was now about 3. I quickly stumbled out of my bed to quickly answer it. When I did, no one said a word. Breathing was all I heard. When I wanted to hang up the phone, a woman's voice said, "Leave my home now." I slammed the phone down. Suddenly I heard footsteps. Someone was in my home moving around. Leo, my dog, stood by my side and was looking in the direction of the guest room. He started to growl. That's when I noticed a black shadow of a woman. But in the shadow, there were human eyes staring at me. I was paralyzed. I couldn't move until Leo started barking. Then the shadow instantly disappeared. I was so freaked out and scared. I couldn't believe what I had seen. It felt like my eyes were deceiving me. I don't believe in paranormal activity, but I have to admit something here is creepy. I think I might have seen a ghost, but I'm not sure. I can't wait till my husband comes home. This way, I won't be home alone. I stayed up for the night. I was too afraid to close my eyes. The phone ringing kept happening all week long, starting in the morning at 6 a.m. to late in the night, past 3 a.m. It was driving me crazy. I couldn't get any of my work done, let alone me working on my home. When my husband arrived home at the end of the week, I was a complete mess. He was really concerned about me. He suggested we involve the police to let them know someone was calling all hours harassing and maybe stalking me. The police made a report and said they will do an investigation to trace the calls. They will let me know when they find out what is going on. The funny thing was, while my husband was there with me, I never received one call. I felt like I was crazy. But I was able to work on the guest room, and I completed painting the walls and replacing the floors. That was nice. So I moved on. My next project was going to be our bedroom, and my husband is now gone. I would stay in the newly renovated guest room. This is when all hell broke loose. I went into our bedroom, and as I prepared to work on our walls and floor, suddenly my bedroom door slammed shut. I was locked in my room. I could hear my dog Leo on the other side of the door barking, scratching. He was going crazy. I think he was really worried about my safety. Suddenly, all at once, Leo went silent. I could hear him whimpering in fear. Then I heard something running really fast. It was quickly coming near. Then I heard Leo squeal and a loud bang. Then I heard nothing. My door suddenly slowly unlocked and creaked its way open, and my dog Leo was hanging there. He looked broken, like a rag doll. He was barely breathing. And on my living room wall in Leo's blood was written, "I told you to leave. Too late now." I called the police, and they came out to investigate. They told me they didn't see any signs of a break-in and entering. They can't figure out how they got in, but they didn't find anything. They claimed they looked all over, but before the police left, they told me a story of the original homeowner. Her name was Kimberly Bridgerton, and she was a part of the Bridgerton family. This house was in their family for years, but unfortunately, she couldn't pay the taxes on the property. The bank foreclosed and was forcing her to move out, but Kimberly refused to leave the house. One day, the bank called the police to come along and enforce her eviction, to remove her from the home. They had papers from the courts. When they arrived and knocked on the door, they received no answer. Then they made it into the home, and she had hung herself. She was lifeless. She had no pulse. I just think you should know. I'm sorry about your dog. We will contact you when we concluded the investigation with more info. I called my husband and I let him know what was going on, and Leo is gone. My husband told me he was going to book the earliest flight home. I was so distraught. I just wanted to get out of this house. I started to pack up some things to leave. Suddenly, the phone started to ring. I don't know if I should answer it. But what if it's my husband or the police? I go into the living room and I answer the phone. I said, "Hello? It's the police. They tell me to listen. We completed our investigation, and the phone calls are coming from somewhere inside your home. You need to get out and go." Suddenly, the lights in the house go out. I see a shadow moving in the dark, quickly moving about. I know right now I need to get the hell out of my house. I run to my door, but I trip over something on my floor. I look back and I was shocked. I tripped over my dog Leo. I let out a scream. Suddenly I was dragged back into my living room. I looked up and I saw a noose. Suddenly, I felt a force come over me. I step up on a chair that appeared out of nowhere. I placed the noose around my neck. Then something knocks over the chair. I can't breathe, and I'm just hanging there, swinging. Suddenly, Kimberly was standing there staring at me. As I start to fade, I heard Kimberly say, "I warned you. I told you to leave."